back for our second of two festive specials.
Yes, best of.
Aye, you alright?
I'm like that, yeah.
Have you been behaving yourself over the Christmas period, Frank?
No, why change a habit of lifetime?
Well, hope you've all been having a great time and sitting back and feet up, loads of mince pies and chocolate, and watching the best of Let Me Be Frank.
Yeah, of course, and don't forget, subscribe. It's all free.
That's free. It's free. Absolutely free. A bit like when you went to that club, were you free?
Yeah. Three of us went, three of us got in. Yeah.
I'm talking free transfers.
Yeah, I know.
And the next clip is another international legend, Joe Ledley, right? But before we're going to talk about Joe, another reminder, everybody, I mean, this is just a demonstration of the guests we're getting on here. Come on, why would you not want to subscribe?
Yes.
Free, do it.
We've got to press the subscribe button. It's all free.
The button right
Just hit the button, and we can bring on. We can bring more guests.
Aye, because I mean, Frank's got a massive following, as you know, among the ladies and stuff. But Joe Ledley, though, again. Dead happy to come on. Had you met Joe much before?
Nah, I'd met him a couple of times, but it was a wonderful talent, you know. And when you see talent, you introduce yourself to them, and I didn't have to because he knew me at Celtic Park, which was great, you know, because Tommy Burns was going about and all that at the time, and everyone knows everyone. When I go, I get treated well. So to get Joe, and Joe's bit Welsh, John's Boyle and all that kind of stuff, you know, it was all right.
Although he wasn't happy. One of the questions we hit him with, because he's a big Celtic fan, Joe, but more so, massive Welsh patriot.
I know.
And when we asked him about
they're all the same. They're all the same. John's the same. Big John's a Welsh.
Aye.
So
John loves his country. But when we asked Joe to compare You'll Never Walk Alone in a full Celtic Park,
he didn't want to like it.
Land of My Fathers in the Welsh National Stadium, he thought we'd done him like a kipper.
I know.
Let's see what his answer was. Here's a question for you, right? You have to think carefully about this answer, right? But you've got two scenarios. You've got a full Celtic Park singing You'll Never Walk Alone, and then you've got the Welsh National Stadium singing Land of My Fathers.
Killing me,
because they're both tremendous. You and John Hartson and Adam Matthews and whatever have been very lucky that they experienced both. Can you compare them?
The Welsh are better singers, Joe.
You stitching me right up.
I know.
They're both amazing. Obviously, you know, when there's 60,000 at Celtic Park, there's obviously a massive more atmosphere. Because Cardiff City Stadium, where we play, only holds 32, so it's going to be a lot louder at Celtic Park. But being a passionate Welsh fan and the way we've done it now and cut the music and get all the fans singing it, I'm going to have to probably just say Wales, but they're both just as good as each other. It's unbelievable.
So we like to encourage a bit of debate, and let me be frank, right? And there was a tremendous debate with our next guest.
Yes.
Derek Ferguson. Brother of Barry. Father of Lewis. And that got him talking a wee bit, because we did, I think it was that famous the Laudrup family quote when somebody said, "How can you be the best player in Europe? You're not even the best player in your own house." So we asked Derek who's the best between Barry and Lewis. His answer surprised me. Did it surprise you? Well, let's see. Let's watch it. Who was the best player in your house?
I tell you what, that's a great question.
The missus.
Right, and I'm going to be a wee bit controversial here.
Oh, we like that.
No, it's the reason, right, you can't argue with Barry. Barry's his career absolutely top drawer. But as a player, and I'm going... My son, I think. My son, I
think he's going to eclipse Barry. He's not there yet.
I just wanted him to become a professional football player. Did I think he'd be going and be like Scotland captain, Rangers captain? I didn't see it at that time, but fair play to him, and he did that absolutely brilliant. But I just think Lewis, people go, you kid me on, but you look at where he's played with the Accies, the Aberdeen and Bologna shouldn't be in the Champions League. They shouldn't even been up there. You know.
But he was a massive part of it.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So he's even in an Aberdeen side that at times struggled a little bit. So he knows the other side of the game. He knows how to dig deep, and he's got that character.
He sounds like a leader. So
he's a leader in a different way from maybe the way Barry was.
Would you agree with that? I mean, he's pretty much saying he thought Lewis eclipsed Barry. He will eclipse Barry.
He will eclipse him. He's brilliant. But Barry was a great player. I mean, I was fortunate to play against him when he was coming through. Mm-hmm. I think I said that in the show. 35,000 people pouring the rain Wednesday afternoon. I was just coming back for injury. Duncan Ferguson was coming back for injury. Celtic against Rangers at Ibrox, and Barry megged me straight away. I close pulled him. I gave him one to the throat.
Did you? Oh, that's nice.
I looked down on him and says, "You'll learn." So it was one, and boy did he learn. Yeah, it was a
close pulled him. I've never heard that before.
The close point ran right in it. It was good. It was an accident, but it was.
But again, having Derek on was another example of how Celtic legend, West Ham legend, but Rangers players on too.
Brilliant. And Derek's great because one of the things I was sitting we go out a lot and we're sitting with a couple of boys and talking to him. We're talking about that game, the old firm game that I get sent off and that. And he said, I was sitting watching it. He said, I'm thinking, I'm watching you talking about it, and I'm thinking, I'd love to have played in that game. He was playing.
That's true.
He says, I went home and watched it. He said, I got it out and I'm going, I'm playing. So that's Derek.
You always know.
I wouldn't change him. He's like that.
What they say about waiting for a bus, none for ages, and then two come along at the same time. So after Derek Ferguson, with another Rangers legend on Big Bomber Brown.
No, it's the first podcast he's ever done.
Aye,
you know that? It's the first they said that. It didn't do him. I do quite a bit with Bomber now. He's a great lad.
I've watched you. I watched a show in the West End a few weeks ago.
He's a Rangers man, and I'm a Celtic man. We're going great because we're not bitter.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. Yeah. He would kick the lumps out of me.
Aye.
And no even help me up, and then after it, you're right, we'll go for a beer or something. That's the way it should be.
Although when he played against Rangers for Dundee, coming from a big Rangers family, didn't they always work out? Exactly. His brother and his dad weren't too happy when well. In fact, let's just watch it. This is great.
We go out the second tap, Clancy drills one, tap corner for 30 yards, super alley again, and I win a penalty kick. Jim Duffy's a penalty taker, and he gives me the ball, says, go and get your hat trick and catch Big Jock's eye. Convert it. Fans are singing the same. I've got the ball, I'm in the car coming back down the road, and I'm thinking, my dad and my brother will be going mental. And I get to the house, and they're watching Bruce Forsyth's Generation getting with my ball. They don't even greet me at the door. It's probably the biggest moment in my football career.
They didn't say nice to see you nice.
Aye. And I walk in and they don't even turn round to look, and I say, Daddy, you get the tickets? My brother turns round and says, aye, we got the tickets. I say, Daddy, hear what the 5,000 bears were singing about your boy? He's a da-da-da. And my dad says, aye, it's me and your fucking brother that started it. Honest to God.
Listen, scoring a hat trick is always good. So, but to go home and get that response when
you scored, what was it, 6 hat tricks?
Something like that. Yeah.
You scored 4 as well. Tell us the story about the time you scored 4 against Morton.
Against Morton, it was the first time I wore that the yellow strip. It was great. And I scored 4, and I was trying to get off, because the gaffers applauded me and all that, and we were beating them 4-0. And I says, if I can get off now and get an earlier flight down to London.
But was
he wasn't happy.
Were you not ready to? Were you not going to break someone's records? Were you nearly mocking?
Well, nearly twice. I scored 4. I scored 4 against Hamilton as well, and I get took off then as well. And the reason was, I'm going, why take me off for all that kind of stuff? And that's what I said to him the first game, Morton. I knew I was getting away, but the second time I said, why take me off? And he's going like that and just pointing to Nearly. And I'm looking at him and I'm going, what's the matter? You'll never break my record, son. You'll not even match it. Because you get 5.
You get 5.
So that was it. Yeah. Aye, good luck to Nearly. Didn't mind.
So when we started this whole thing, this whole podcast, there was very early on, there was a young guy who we were both keen to get on, because not only is he a big West Ham supporter, but he's got a massive social media presence. Jack, mate.
Aye.
And we, very busy guy, really busy, and we had a few kind of email exchanges, and obviously he'd learned all about you.
Yeah.
And his old man had told him.
His old man, yeah.
But he was great coming on.
It was, when he asked his dad.
Aye.
Do you know?
What does Frank McAvennie mean to you?
Aye.
Fucking legend. But his story about what really kind of propelled him, to becoming the kind of, YouTube sensation, shall we call it, was when he got in touch with Ricky Gervais and asked him if he could interview him, and he didn't think he had a chance. Well, again, let's watch what happened, because it tells you a lot about Ricky Gervais as a person too.
I'd emailed his manager and said, can I get involved in the press junket? So when, like all the journalists go in, they get 5 minutes with him, whatever. And then his manager put back, sorry, we're full, that it's not going to happen. So I was like, okay. So again, about a week later, again, I think I'd had a couple of jars. So I messaged him. So I messaged Ricky and was like, mate, I'd love to interview you one day. It's my dream. I tried to get on the press junket, but it's full. He's put back an hour later, who said it's full? So I'm like, oh, well, okay. I don't want to drop anyone in it, but it was this.
You're about to chuck someone under the bus.
Yeah. So anyway, so he said, I'll check. And then he got back to me a day later. He went, it is full. He said, but if you come at the end of the day, so can you bring your own camera and stuff? I was like, of course. So if you come at the end of the day, we'll find time. So instead of just being part of this conveyor belt of 5 minutes, a journalist only gets 5 minutes, then the next one, then the next one. I got to go to this posh hotel in London, little side room. He's coming at the end of the day. I've met him. I'm a bit nervous, and then I was like, 5 minutes, is that right? He's like, you can have as long as you want. And we filmed for about 40 minutes, and it was incredible.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and we got on like a house on fire, and then after that, he came on my podcast. He invited me on his radio show, and yeah, it's just
that's fantastic.
I owe that man a lot because he come on doors, and once you get someone like Ricky Gervais on your podcast, other people are likely to come on then because they just look at, oh, he's been on, so it's got to be half decent.
Yeah. Well, when you speak to him, tell him I'm a big fan.
Get him on here.
Jack, mate, was great.
Yeah, he was great.
And if you're watching, Jack, give us another wee push on social media, mate, to your 10 squillion thousand followers. And then, after Jack, mate, another notch up. Scott Brown.
Well, Scotty's another one didn't do podcasts. And
but you sort of beat him into submission, didn't you?
I had a few days with Scott in Jersey. A few days, felt like a week. But it was good fun, as you can imagine.
Early starts and late finishes.
Yes, it was very good. And private jets and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, James. It was great. It was, honestly, I walked in the first day, I said, there's a passport. 8:15 in the morning. Nicholl says, what's that for? The girl, the hostess at the airport. And she says, I don't need a passport. You'd better take one of them, she says, and give me a glass of champagne. I was like, 8:15 in the morning.
That's how you started the day.
Celtic convention, thanks to the boys in Jersey, it was a wonderful time.
The great thing about having Scott sitting there was that, modern day Celtic absolute icon, legend. He was just like, he was so down to earth, so relaxed. The stories were great. And and at that point, I think he were flying high at that point as well. So I think he was quite happy with it.
The biggest story was, I think we're going to watch it.
Well, this is when, and I asked him as a young guy at Hibs, the chance of joining Celtic or Rangers, and after spending a wee bit of time with officials of both clubs, his mind was made up, and it was pretty funny too. There's no secret. You could have, when you left Hibs, there's maybe a chance of going Celtic and Rangers. But you ask this all the time. You chose Celtic. What was the story? How did it all?
I chose all right. Yeah,
you did choose.
You did.
I was saying, you were there actually in Jersey. They told the story, and went and met Walter, Ali, and David Murray in the car park in Sighthill in Glasgow, something underneath flats. Sat in a Land Rover and bled their way to them. Then Celtic obviously phoned to ask if I can speak to them. The Hibs accepted the bid. They flew me down to London to Dermot's place, and I was like looking, going, slightly better than Sighthill this.
Sitting under a bridge in Sighthill.
I got on really well with Coisty and Walter, and like being at Scotland with Tam at the time as well. So like it was really good banter. But Tommy was like texting, like saying, "Wee man, come on, you want to come home, come to us. We'll make sure you're all right. We'll build the team around you." And I got on really well with Strachan in the way we wanted to play, wanted to build the team around myself, Aiden, and all the young players that were there. So, I just felt like it was the right place at the right time to go to a club that was in the Champions League, that was competing all the time. And to be fair, we've done well in the Champions League the first couple of seasons.
To be fair, I think you made the right choice.
Scott Brown made the right choice. I think he probably did. A bit interesting. How many medals do you think he'd have won if he'd gone to Rangers?
None. Nah, not many.
It was a big debate at the time, though, because...
Well, they won it. It wins, sir, because, I mean, at that time, I don't think they were that good. Celtic were on the ascendancy, weren't they? They were on the big front.
I remember there was a Celtic Rangers game shortly after Scott Brown had gone to Celtic and Kevin Thompson had gone to Rangers. And there was a banner on the Rangers end that said something like, twice the player for half the money.
Yeah. That worked out. That worked out well.
We often talk about guys who have played for Celtic and West Ham. There's a few of them.
Yeah.
You know, Big John Hartson been one of them. Ayo Berkovic.
Yeah.
Stewart Slater. Carlton Cole was another one. I remember when Carlton come on.
Carlton's brilliant. He's a good lad.
He was good. He'd some good stories as well. He wasn't
The biggest one for the fans, but it's not been on yet. But Canio.
Are we going to get him?
Well, I'm hoping. I'm trying.
Yeah.
You know,
Carlton
It's only doesn't understand me.
I felt a bit sorry for Carlton Cole because he came to Celtic at a point where things weren't great. It was under Ronnie Dyler. Things were a wee bit kind of ropey for a while, and he was injury plagued, and I think that there was a wee bit of debate about who was going to be looking after him, whether it was going to be Dyler's own medical team who'd come over from Norway, or whether it was going to be the Celtic medical team, and he found, as we're about to see, he found it wasn't the kind of greatest way of getting him back fit. You know.
I wasn't looked after the way I thought I should have been up there.
Yeah.
It was disjointed, and you got to understand, I was at West Ham for nearly 10 years. So going from that to seeing, because from the outside at the time, Celtic looked like it's a massive club if you're looking at it from the outside. But when you go in and you see, it was a little bit Mickey Mouse. It wasn't great. There were like, for me, the medical team was essential to keep me going and keep me fit. But there were two. It was divided. There was the Old Faithful, the Scottish medical team, and then there was the. I think where was he from again?
He was Norwegian. Ronnie Dyler.
Yeah, so Ronnie Dyler was from Norway, and there was the Norwegian medical team as well, and they couldn't really agree, the two medical teams. So you kind of, when you went in, you had to pick a side as a player. It was just really weird for me, and that was just one of the things. But I'm not saying it was just that, but I'm just saying I wasn't mentally prepared for all of these things, and it culminated into me not performing.
You know, speaking to Carlton, he was telling us after, there was a lot of debate about that bit, because a lot of people thought he was having a go at Celtic, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't, because he used the term Mickey Mouse. He wasn't calling Celtic a Mickey Mouse club.
Mickey Mouse would be the two sets of,
it wasn't a Celtic
ambush chasers or whatever you call them.
Exactly.
They're doing nothing else. Or he's sports science and all that kind of.
But he's doing very well, Carlton, because he's on the radio and the Talk Sport. He does the kind of weekender and whatever.
But he's back working with West Ham.
Yeah,
it's great. He's doing very well, and I go down and see him quite often. So I need to see him soon. So.
Yeah. Now this is great, right? It was a Zoom call. It was another West Ham super fan. You may remember him from reaching #1 in the charts back whenever it was.
and I'll tell you what, how can you get someone, because I didn't know where he was. When I was speaking to him, and he says, yeah, no problem. He didn't tell me that he was on a cruise. So this
is so funny.
It's so good.
Well, we're going to
Chesney.
that clip.
Chesney's. I mean, I've kept in touch with him. He's a brilliant guy. He's a big West Ham fan.
But it was something went on in the background, and you're like, "Where are you?"
I said, it was Alan. The next door says, "What's that noise?" And he says, "Oh, that's what was it called? The captain telling us what time dinner's at." But he's got this West Ham top. He takes it everywhere with him.
But we also got him to. We got him to change the words of "I am the one and only."
Yes.
Just for us, just for you, and we can voice that right now.
And they start singing that song. That's all they sing. Everyone knows it. It's like worldwide.
Would you give us a blast? Give us a blast of the chorus before you?
I'm not doing it. No.
You chase me.
Yeah, you don't want me to ruin the song.
Here we go.
Frank is the one and only. That's why I want to get going in the terraces, mate.
Oh, brilliant! He was wonderful. He was over at the cup final. And he was saying,
when they won the European Conference League,
he was saying, you over here now? I wasn't. I was in London, and I was hosting a fan zone, and it was brilliant. And I'm wonderful. I was a bit drunk, getting back to the hotel, and as I say, it only took me 5 minutes to walk to the place, and I'm walking there, and I'm thinking, stupid me, I put it on sat nav. I'm going, where's the hotel? But I forgot to put it on walk.
You put it on a car. You're on the motorway.
So I'm walking around all the houses, and I'm thinking, I never came this way. But I'm so pleased that I did, because I seen all the old tiers and all the EastEnders were all out dancing in the street, and it was like, really, you take it for granted sometimes at Celtic. We win all the time, but That's what it meant to West Ham. So I was so pleased that I did that, and I've seen the proper EastEnders.
Now, I've already mentioned that the magic happens in Let Me Be Frank podcast because of the team at Up Next Studios, right?
Yes.
And the boys at Up Next were central to getting our next guest on, because they lived next door to him in the West End of Glasgow years ago.
Yes.
Graham and Alan were neighbours with a certain Mr. Jim White.
Jim White.
So I think did you send a photograph of the boys with Jim?
With Jim.
He must have looked about 25 or something.
Yeah, he looked very young, didn't he?
With his fancy streak barnet and his moustache. But so Jim was delighted to come on. I also gave him the chance to hook up with the lads again.
Of course.
But what a professional Jim White is.
He's unbelievable. It was just a pity that Mr. Jordan wasn't there, because he'd done it from his house, didn't he?
No.
I've
got to be honest, I'm a Simon Jordan fan.
Oh, I love him. It speaks. But Jim's got his collar. He doesn't let him away with anything, which is great. And that's why he's so good.
He's a tremendous broadcaster, dead honest.
Yeah.
He's spoken about his own battles.
Yeah.
Over the years and demons, and how he's been off alcohol for a certain number of years, and he's really proud of that, and he's a great example to people too. But he told a couple of stories which were fantastic. But he also he gave us a recollection of the morning Walter Smith passed away, and Ali McCoy's was in the Talk Sport building at the time.
Yeah.
And well, let's watch it now.
The sad news came through about the passing of Walter Smith, and Ali was extremely upset in another room, and I knew he was still in the building. But during a commercial break, Simon, I went through to him and I said, look, if you can find a way of coming back into the studio and joining me and Simon and talking about Walter, and I know it's tough, and I totally understand if you can't do it, but if you want to do it, the offer's there. Come through and join us. If not, I totally get it. And about 25 minutes later, the door opens to the studio, and during a commercial break, Ali came in and he sat with us, and I think he spoke for about half an hour about Walter and what Walter meant to him. And I'll never forget his words that day, Simon. He was incredible. And he summoned up the courage and the strength to do it. And it was amazing. Yeah. And he was shattered sitting there. He was shattered by the news that his great friend and former boss had passed away. But he did it, and I've never forgotten him for it. And I love McCoy, says I love McAvennie. Special guys.
Did well. That's a lovely story. And Ali's, come on, we're going to get him on.
I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, everyone that's watching knows, because he promises he's coming on, so it will get him on. It will definitely come on.
But that was a nice story. A nice story from Jim. And again, another reminder.
The one with Jim. The good thing about Jim as well was, and then the day I left Celtic and he found me at Glasgow Airport, it was the STV at the time, and he's got the camera switched off, which.
Because you were getting a bit emotional?
No, I was just bubbling at a wee boy.
I just told you the barber shot or something?
Yeah, to give me the bill.
Before we go any further, we're going to talk about Jimmy Nicholl, right? So here we get remember about Jimmy, because Jimmy was superb. Again, another reminder to the everybody watching, hit the subscribe button. Jimmy Nicholl, I wasn't sure what I expect. I'd watched him.
I knew. I said that to you, didn't I? He's quality.
I'd seen him doing his after dinner set years ago, and I remember thinking that was really funny, particularly the story that about the I think a bomb had gone off near Windsor Park. The Germans were running for cover, and they're saying, what was that? And he said, I think that was, I don't know, 40 pounder.
It's the story he tells you, they're all running by going, 9-9.
The score 9-9, was it? The fence is on top.
They're all running.
But I tell you what, a clip which we put on social that really went crazy. In fact, there's fans still debating this now, months later. But it was when he was very open and honest about leaving Belfast to go to Manchester, and the reason behind it was actually quite sinister. Let's watch it.
Somebody just came and rapped the door and get yourself out of that club. Get your son out of that club. If you don't get your son out of that club, you just have to get out of the house. Because Man United was known as a Catholic club, you know. Right. Tommy Doc says, right, go home, son. Bring your man there. I've got you a clubhouse. We got a car, picked up my man there. I wasn't driving, but somebody from the club. And they picked my man down from Manchester Airport. And then we're driving this house. And I said, where are we going? He said, Sale in Cheshire. And it's a 3-bedroom detached with a garage in a cul-de-sac. And my dad taps me on the shoulder in the back. She says, All right, Sean. The fuck's it called? I have no idea.
A good pal of yours, golfing buddy, Bobby Bluebell. Great episode that, wasn't it? I was expecting the Perry to start arguing about golf. I was a wee bit disappointed.
Politics and golf, that's us. It's the way we've got a lot of.
But Bobby's story about golfing with a proper Hollywood A-lister when he was a young guy with Bluebells. Let's watch it now.
He points up this other guy, and I'm thinking, that's Jack Nicholson. Do you know what I mean, right? You know, right? And he goes, yeah, we're playing with Jack, and I'm going, oh fuck, great. So this is what they do in America, right? I don't know how to do it anymore, but it's a bit like St Andrews. They say on the tee from Scotland. You know, right? You know, whatever. They were all doing this, right? That's what all the Americans, you know, like, and you wind you up, you know, because you must be great at golf, you're Scottish. If only they knew, right, there's 1% of Scottish people are good at golf. Do you mean, right, you know? I take the club back, right, and I swing, I missed the ball completely. But as I'm coming back down this way, I hit the ball with the back of the club, and it goes back that way, right, you know, right? No one says a word, right? So they go breakfast ball, and you go, to hit another shot, right? So Dennis goes that, and I said, so I had another shot, and it wasn't great either, right? So I'm walking up the fairway, right, and I'm thinking, I better say hello, to Jack Nicholson, right? And he goes, he says, interesting. He says, let me give you some advice, young man. You know, at that point I was younger than him. He goes, never name drop in LA. Right. So as soon as I came back, I went anywhere, I goes, Jack Nicholson once told me, never name drop.
It took us 23 episodes to get our first female guest. Right, so 2025, far more diversity in that respect. We've got a few more. But Bianca Westwood came on, and wow, I didn't quite appreciate just how big a fan of yours.
Well, I always wanted Bianca to be the first female to come on anyway, unless you get Charlene, which we'll get after the New Year. But she's just been about West Ham for years, and you know, and a big fact for me that Tony Cotty can't handle it because I'm her favourite player. Sorry, Tony.
But she was good. Again, she was great, but she broke into sports journalism as a young woman at a point where it didn't really happen, and she had loads of obstacles, and she didn't get the respect that she deserved, as she explained to us.
It was really tough, but it wasn't just the fans. You know, there were managers who disrespected me. I wasn't allowed in the tunnel at the time. Training grounds, they would hide me in case I disrupted the players' concentration. Yeah, like if I was in a press conference, if I asked a question to certain managers, they would direct their answer elsewhere, wouldn't look at me. Wow. Even journalists with their little packs.
Yeah.
I still remember the guys who were friendly though, and not in like a weird way.
Yeah.
The ones who were professional and who sort of took me on board and just treated me like another journo. I still remember who they are, and you know, I still appreciate that.
Someone else that you pulled at all the stops to get on, and I was surprised but delighted that he came in the studio, was Aiden McGeady, because he was literally just finished his career, and this was probably one of the first interviews he did. He's
a good lad, Aiden. I got a lot of time with him, and what a player! I thought he was a wonderful player, but he's headstrong. He's, you know, as we found out,
clever boy, smart
boy,
really smart.
Don't know how he talks to me.
Guarantee he'll get forge a really good career in coaching. I'm sure he will.
I think
he's got his head screwed on, but he's had a few kind of run-ins with various people over the years. You can understand why he falls out with managers from time to time.
Yes.
But the story that we're about to watch, the clip we're about to watch, when he got man of the match, and a certain Celtic manager wasn't happy with this. This is just tremendous.
I remember actually getting man of the match that day, and I wasn't allowed to get it. So Strachan stopped me from getting it.
Seriously?
Aye. When Strachan was going off in his rant about Lenny, he was like, this guy here, like, he's done everything at this club, you know. He's got the biggest skill in football, passing the ball to a teammate, you know, having that underhand dig at me, you know, because I like to beat players and stuff. And he was like, you know, you might get some girls when you go to dancing because you've got a few flicks and tricks. But this guy, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what are you actually talking about here? And then obviously Ian Jamieson put his head in the door, and he went, timing was unbelievable. Gaffer, Aiden's to come do the man of the match. And he was like, no. He was the man of the match.
She had to bust out laughing if that was me.
I was just like that. So he sent Dan O'Day out. So Dan O'Day went to do man of the match, and they're obviously saying, "Oh, Dan, could you give this to Aiden because he's man of the match?" And so he had to take it for me. So he wouldn't let me go and get man of the match, but just that was a wee bit petty, wasn't it? But Gaffer Aidens to get man of the match. Whilst he's mid rant about me, saying backing up Lenny.
I've loved
I know.
So we're almost up to date, but the biggest name, I think it's fair to say, the biggest name we've had on was the man himself, the legend, Sir Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
You pulled a rabbit out of the hat there, Frank.
You know, he's great, but it was just getting him at the right time, at the right moment. And a couple of times he says he would do it, but just something happened that, and he's texted me and say, can't do it, but he'll do it next week, all that kind of stuff. But it was great to go and meet the guy. Obviously, I've met him a few times and I've been out a few times with him, but to get him in this place, and the funny thing about it, we were sitting downstairs for about over an hour.
We're about to listen, because it was audio, because we're in a bar, obviously, but we're about to listen to the what caused him to fall in love with Celtic and meeting Jock Stein for the first time. We're going to watch that in a wee second. But the build up to it was hilarious, because we're sitting in the bar at the Atlantic Bar in Glasgow City Centre, and Rod sent you a message saying, I'm here, make your way to the Atlantic Bar. And you replied and said, we've been here
I'm here, I'm sitting at a bar having a drink.
And there was a total breakdown in communication. He was upstairs in a private dining room with Alistair, his son's birthday, and his pals were over there. And he hadn't seen your message. We were about to just pack up and leave. The Up Next boys were ready to leave as well. And then all of a sudden, Rod just appears.
I know.
And what a day it was.
Brilliant.
So
we'd done the podcast, and then we'd done everything else. It was good. We went and had a few drinks.
We tried his Wolfie whiskey. Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely. Really nice.
Beautiful.
Really nice. And well done to Duncan and all the guys behind Wolfie whiskey. That was good.
I can't believe the bar took it off the boys when they tried to get it out the door.
The guys trying to sneak a bottle of whiskey out.
Oh no, I gave him it. I said, well, it's just there. And the boys bar said, come here.
That's what you used to give away from. But no, it was one of those days. My other half was with us, Lynn was with us, and she ended up playing darts with Rod Stewart. And when he discovered she was
my team, and we won.
That's right. She said, I said, bad at the darts. But when he discovered that she was a granny, and he was started singing to her, "You'll never shove your granny off a bus."
That was the first thing he came out with, wasn't it?
She'll be brilliant. But he was dead. He was really good. He was talking about his love of Celtic and talking about Glastonbury next year, which is going to be incredible.
It's going to be good. I'll be there.
80 years old, doing Glastonbury.
I know.
It was quite controversial when he said he thought Billy Joel was more popular than
in America. I can understand that, but Billy Joel's the piano man. He's. But they're states apart. I mean, I love Springsteen because it's 4 hours of
and I've seen Springsteen a couple of times at Hampden, and you've got to get there early.
I know.
The thing about Hampden is the concert's got to finish by a certain time because of built up area and so on. So Springsteen concerts start at like 6:30.
He gets fined everywhere he goes. I was at Wembley. Simply Red were on. I seen him at the Wembley Stadium, and then I went to see him again, but he was on the arena. Simply Red were on the stadium. He says, don't worry if you've got a card, don't worry about them. He says, they'll be long gone by the time I'm finished. And they get fined for it. It's just incredible. He just can't stop. He loves it.
But we're now going to listen to Rod and the time he was up in Glasgow in 1973 with the Faces, and Kenny Dalglish and 2 or 3 others knocked his door and said, do you want to come to training?
Do you remember when I suddenly became a Celtic supporter? We were up here with the Faces in 1973, and Dalglish and Wee Jinky and Harry Hoods, I think, and a couple of others knocked on our door and said, Rod, you want to come? Because they'd been to see the show the night before. They said, you want to come to training? I said, yeah, let me wake Ronnie Wood up. I couldn't get him up, so I went down and met Jock Stein. And that, in my mind, was like meeting the Almighty. Because he spoke a few words about Celtic football and made it sound like poetry and drama. And then he looked down at my fucking shoes and burst out laughing. I had a pair of summer sandals on. It was midwinter. And ever since then, I've been Celtic man. And then, of course, when Strachan took over, Martin O'Neill is a good friend, but when Strachan took over, it was, I think, 2004, was it?
2004.
It was deep for me.
You got the seat for life round about then as well, did you?
Oh, so amazing.
I know, but you were in beside Billy Connolly, wasn't it? You were in, and Billy
there's only 4 there. One is me and my 2 boys and Connolly.
Brilliant.
What an honour.
So that was it. So
Good fun.
2024 is done. We've got through it with some tremendous names. Even more great names come up in 2025.
There's a lot of excitement coming up because we've got some great names coming up after the next couple of weeks.
We'll need to get some of the guests we've had on already back on. It'd be good to get Neil Lennon back in the studio. We did it over Zoom. That'd be good.
Well, Lennon will come in. He's just played golf with him recently, so he'll come in.
Maybe Tony Cotty as well. Get him in the studio if he's up.
Get him if he's up. He's want to come up and play Gleneagles, so we'll see.
Is there any day that you don't golf?
Not really, no. I'll let him when it's cold.
But it's been a blast, and listen, thanks to everybody for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been blown away by some of the reaction to it. Loads of good engagements on social media. We're always trying to grow the YouTube number, so please, it doesn't take much to hit subscribe button.
Yeah.
We do. Does it cost you a penny?
And it's great because you get a guest, you just let them talk. We don't have to do anything. It's great.
Aye. Well, listen, Frank,
Cheers,
Happy
mate.
New Year to you,
Happy
mate.
New Year, sir.
I know that New Year's Day was a special day for you back in Celtic Park a number of years ago.
That was a number of years ago, yeah. It was actually second.
Yeah.
I actually focused for that one. Yeah.
I might go home and watch that game on YouTube. But all the best, mate. And Happy New Year to all the Let Me Be Frank family.
Yes.
And we'll catch up with you again soon.
Take care. Bye bye.